Okay, so something's been buzzing on our Facebook page. So if you are a keen follower of it, facebook.com/Joy News on TV, then you would know. Because we put there that the West African Examination Council said that no candidate should be prevented from wearing a veil or hijab when taking passport photos for their exam registration, provided that all facial features are showing, and that's generating a lot of comments from you out there. We'll be sharing a couple, but that's the background to my story this morning, why I'm raising my banner on it. We want to, and we are indeed asking the question, the law and religion, which one should bend for which? And so I'm looking at this issue with my special guest this morning. I want to say thank you to Sheikh Ibrahim Ibn Sada, who is a Muslim scholar, also a graduate at the Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences of the University of Science and Technology. Good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Mama V. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Maybe I should just take your view on, you've been following, the issue. Initially, we didn't know how it was going. Was it that WAEC was asking all Muslim girls not to cover their heads? But I think the issue has been clarified now. But what do you make of it?
Yes, I think that I followed it up, and I realized that there was a miscommunication somewhere between WAEC and then the Muslim community. But this shouldn't have arisen. We shouldn't have arrived at the present state, because the Constitution of Ghana, on the human rights section of the Constitution of Ghana, it guarantees that everybody has the right to practice any religion of his or her choice. And then the section C of that part says that to express that faith in which you have. So the expression can be in the clothing, the expression can be your gait, your gaze, how you go about it. So the manner in which it was put, caused a bit of confusion with regard to the Muslim community, because the issue of hijab is at the core, central core, when it comes to the Islamic faith. And therefore, I think that it shouldn't have been treated the way it was treated in the media.
But which one do you think weighs more, law, religion?
I think that the law is made to serve us, the citizens. Citizens of a country makes laws to serve us. If we are Muslims and Christians and pagans and others, we make laws so that we can regulate our manners in society. We don't make laws to exclude others whilst we keep others. We also make laws to respect all of our differences, because God says in the Quran that in your differences lies in the greatness of Almighty God. So the differences come in when we appreciate the fact that you are different from me, I'm different from you, you have a religion, I have my religion. But then we are living in a country called Ghana, which belongs to all of us. And therefore the laws that are in our constitution recognize this fact and made sure that no one is discriminated upon based on religion, creed, color, or anything. And therefore anyone that purports to do anything that seeks to denigrate one religion or to suppress, repress, and oppress another religion is resisted most of the time, because the Constitution itself, which is the law, the mother law of the land, does not allow that anybody feels in my own country discriminated against when it comes to the issue of religion. So I think the law itself appreciates the fact that when it comes to religion, you should be very careful when you are dealing with it.
There are some people who would think that when it comes to the Muslim religion especially, you like us to treat you differently, so that even though, like there are, and somebody was citing the issue of when you go to some of the embassies, for instance, if you're looking for a visa, and they say do this, you will do it. But when it comes to, like the general country, then you want us to make you feel special.
In actual fact, when it comes to Muslims, we think that as Ghanaians, I don't feel any different from my fellow Muslim brother or Muslim sister Christian brother or Christian sister. I feel that we are Ghanaians first, before religion. So I don't see why there should be preferential treatment for me because I'm a Muslim, or any other person because the person is a Christian or not a Muslim. I don't think that should be the right thing. If it is done in certain quarters, I personally condemn it, that it shouldn't be done. But you see, the issue in question here is hijab. Hijab, literally, linguistically, it means a veil, a screen. And then, generally, it means anything worn by Muslim women to cover the head and the chest. Generally, you can also refer to the clothing, the manner in which the person wears the clothing. Now, the Encyclopedia of Islam and the Muslim World, New York, in 2003, describes the veil, the hijab. When the Quran describes hijab as modesty, they explains it as 4 things: your gaze, your gait, your garment, and your genitalia. So the hijab, that's why I said it touches on the central core of Islam. Your gaze, your gait, your garment, and your genitalia.
Is it not a lifestyle?
No. In the case of Islam, there is a specific order from God. In Quran chapter 24, verses 31 up to 34, that tell the believing men that they should lower their gaze and they should cover themselves. That is better for them. And then after that, it also says, tell the believing women that they should lower their gaze and they should cover themselves from head to toe, except what is allowed to be out. And that is interpreted to mean the face, the hands, and the legs. So when it comes to the issue of hijab, it is a central doctrine in the Quran that God himself has ordained. And the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet of Islam, has said that al-haya min al-iman, that modesty is part of faith. To see you that you are modest is part of faith. And one of the symbols, the main cardinal principles that we observe modesty in women is when it comes to hijab. And the hijab, your head, it starts from the head to the toe. So you can't say that I've exposed my hair, my head, but I'm dressed fine, and therefore it should be fine. On the other hand, there are contemporary ones, people who have decided to take it as a fashion. So there are other non-Muslim women who put on the hijab as a mode of fashion, but not really the Islamic requirement. So you find that they fall short of the true requirement of hijab. In the true requirement of hijab, which the Quran says, it should cover your hair totally. It should cover your chest. It should not expose any ornaments that you are wearing, either your earrings or your necklace or your bangles. It should not expose them. You should wear it when you are outside your home. If you are with your husband and your immediate family, no problem. But when you step outside, you are supposed to wear the hijab in the presence of men that are not one of your immediate families, in the presence of women that are not one of your immediate families members, anybody that can, you know, have something to do with your relation or that is not directly linked to you, you wear the hijab.
But you know that there are some tertiary institutions whose laws would not allow. And I think that whilst I can't quite remember, but I think there were some Muslim girls at the Central University at the time I was there. And I can't remember them appearing like the way you're describing right now.
Yes, the issue is in Ghana, we are a very peaceful country. But then we should guard this peace and ensure that what is happening in the sub-region do not happen. These things happen, unjustifiably though, when people feel that they have been alienated, they've been oppressed, they've been repressed, and they've been suppressed in their own land and in their own country by a section of people. There are some, it can be within Islam or Christianity, who are very zealous, who think that so long as the person is expressing his or herself this way, I don't like it and I don't want it. I think that for those tertiary institutions, that oppress or resist the hijab.
Are they oppressing or resisting?
No,
I mean, it's the laws per the school. You bought the forms and you read the details.
You know,
and once you agreed to come there, then it means you've agreed to the terms and the conditions.
Why would an institution single-handedly say that when you enter these institutions, I don't want you to wear the hijab?
What, isn't that their choice?
No. Why do you single the hijab, only the Muslim hijab, and say no? It is unfair, number one. Number two, it's unconstitutional. Because the Constitution allows freedom of worship and allows you, when you go to the 1992 Constitution, the Section C part on the human rights and the freedom of religion
It also allows you the right to association. So you can decide not to be there, but to be somewhere else.
No, it tells you that you have the right to express that faith. And if the university or the school or whatever institution is in Ghana and respects the law of Ghana and the Constitution of Ghana, they would do their laws in such a way that it is in tandem with the Ghanaian Constitution and does not conflict with the Ghanaian Constitution. Number two, we are living in a very civilized world. Democracy and civility means that you disagree with me, you may not necessarily like me, but you do not have to hate me. You do not have to do things that will make me feel that, wow, because I'm a Muslim, that is why. So I take off the veil in protest. Those who do that, those girls.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because I told you the central nature of the veil.
But what lesson would they be teaching us then?
It will be teaching us lessons that we still have a long way to go with regards to the issue of tolerance. And I said that Ghana, we have a very unique scenario. Ghana is like any other West African country. When you go to Nigeria, a lot of them are segregated. You will not allow a Yoruba man to be even a DCE in another area. But in Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah started by making sure that if you are from Ashanti, he sends you to the Volta region. If you are from the north, he sends you to Kumasi. So we have integrated. And you would find that you have a house, one house. You are my family. You are a Christian. I am a Muslim. We don't fight. We eat together. We buy food and sit down and chat. We work together without any problem.
Let me turn the tables around a little bit. Would you accept me in one of your universities, for instance? You would have conditions for me.
No. I would accept you 100% like the way you are sitting here in an Islamic university. Why? Because in Islam, it is only when you are a Muslim that the laws of the Sharia applies to you. Sharia means the law. When you are a Muslim, even when you are living in an Islamic country and you are a Christian, the law is supposed to apply to you by recognizing your faith and allowing you the freedom to practice what you believe in.
That's not what I've
For example, but in Ghana, what people must realize is that Ghana is not a Muslim state. Ghana is not a Christian state. Ghana is a secular state. And therefore, taking this into consideration, you may have a lot of Christians, you may have some Muslims, you may have other people, but Ghana is officially a secular state. So when you are telling somebody, because this person is a Muslim, I don't want him to come to this workplace. I don't want him to be on the news because he's wearing hijab. For him to be on the news, he has to take off the hijab. That is an unfair, and it is constituted as harassment of the individual.
But
religious
I'm also
harassment.
saying that the stories, and I haven't tested this, so I may not be able to confirm, but I have been told that you cannot go to a Muslim tertiary institution, you know, just like the way I'm looking. You've got to cover your head, you've got to behave like the way their girls would behave.
Let me give you one typical example. This country, there are a lot of these leaders who have attended Ahmadiyya Secondary School. How many of the Christians haven't, the leaders, Christian leaders haven't attended Ahmadiyya Secondary Schools countrywide? There are other educational institutions that are Muslim. How many Christians haven't attended?
Isn't it easy for the men?
No, I'm saying, no, with ladies. How many of them have been asked to veil? None. None. You see, the schools of thought are such that people sometimes misinterpret the Islamic law and make it like a monster. So that if you see a Christian, the image, a Muslim, the image that is created in your mind is that, no, this person has a fixed, like you were saying, has a fixed way of dress, has a fixed way of this. But when it comes to the issue of the hijab, if a Muslim lady chooses not to wear it, that is the person's own idea of trying to say that I am this, I am that. But when it goes to the Quran, in Quran chapter 24, like I said, and even in Quran chapter 33, verse 59, The Prophet, God asked us, the Muslim women, to wear it. The Prophet, God instructed the Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and the believing women to wear the hijab to protect them from being harassed. Are you getting it? You are a beautiful lady, as you sit there.
Thank you.
Yes, if you wear the hijab, if you are in hijab, no man, I mean, people see you and they respect you. They don't want to, that harass, touching, you know, guys.
Oh, that's what you think?
No.
That
no,
because you've covered your hair.
No, that is one. That is one. But the central thing is that it is related to faith. Your belief. Like I told you, there is a hadith, there's a saying of the Prophet which says that al-haya min al-iman, that the feeling of shyness or modesty in the context of the hijab is part of faith. So if the person believes and have faith in God, he wears it and then he obeys God and obeys the Prophet. So wearing hijab, in the first and foremost, it's not to please man. It's not to please anybody. But first is to please God. Why? Because God said you should do it. And when God says you should do something, you do it whether somebody likes it or somebody doesn't like it, or somebody tells you why you shouldn't wear this, expose this and expose that. Do you get it? Expose your boobs and that. But then you say, no, God says I should do it. So if someone is doing it in any institution in Ghana, I don't think that anybody at all should vilify the person or put impediments in the person's way by saying that I won't give this person this job, I won't admit this person to this institution because what? He's wearing the veil. I've seen a Muslim girl who applied for a banking job, and then the human resource manager there told her, he came for the interview, excellent student, holds an MBA, passed very well, but the human resource manager said, if only she would remove the veil, she would admit her in that institution.
Yeah, those are the laws governing the institution.
No, he said, why should you be the Muslim? I'm in the hospital, I told you. People come to the hospital, nurses, they are Roman sisters, they wear their scarf, and they are in the wards.
Yeah, I mean, if the law surrounding that institution would tolerate them.
But you would realize that in many institutions that I have seen, you have Roman sisters, or sisters in the Roman Catholic faith, they wear their covering, and nobody says that, sister, you have to remove what is covering, what is in your head before you come here or before you come to this school. Nobody says that.
You've introduced another side to this debate.
No, so I think that people must look at it and see it as, number one, part of the Islamic faith. It's not just a dressing that you can raise a topic and say, oh, Muslim girls, don't wear it again. It will never happen. It's a Quranic injunction. It's God's ordainment. It is just saying that a Muslim should stop fasting in Ramadan, or just saying that a Muslim should stop, praying 5 times a day.
Okay.
It can happen. So when you do that and you force a person and institution to remove the covering, the person may remove it, but his heart is protesting to you.
Okay. I get that, and I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about it this way, but you've, and hopefully, we've been given a lot more insights the way we look at the whole issue, because it was a hot topic yesterday, even in our newsroom, different views. But thank you so much for the clarification, for the education.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Sheikh Ibrahim Ibn Sana is a Muslim scholar. I'm grateful that he could find time to clear a lot more of the issues with us. It's My Relationship Friday. Stay with me right here.
I'm very grateful.
I will be back.
Thank you.